2023 at 7 p.m.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the October
Okay.
3rd meeting.
Okay. Myself, Vin 40 Chair, member Rick Gilberti, agent Dylan Labonte, and I guess that's it. So, yes, the meeting's open. Minutes to approve. I already read them. You want to leave Verizon? Just leave it. Okay. Okay. So you made the motion. I'll second it. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, so carried.
I don't get a vote.
No, no. We'll brighten 5 day.
No worries.
Okay, tobacco food inspector updates. Robbie.
I'm not sure if
He's
he
here. Yeah.
if he joined. Let's see. I want to make sure he's not like sitting in a waiting room.
Says no response from him.
Yeah, I got.
Okay.
All right.
Well, if he jumps in, we'll go back to this.
Yeah.
But we'll just move on. Okay.
Oh, look at that.
He's here.
Beautiful timing.
Okay. Rob, you're on for food inspections and I guess that's it. How are we doing?
Sorry about that. I only caught the last half. My phone was still
Okay.
connected there.
Right now it says food establishment inspections and retail food inspection, proper FE and RFS and DL. Forget what the heck that is, but
we'll
okay. So Dylan and I have kind of been working tirelessly on a couple things. We had a really good meeting with Permitize last week and went through kind of a bunch of changes we want made in the system. Found some issues within the system regarding my tablet. We found that my tablet was too outdated to be running the program. So a lot of the issues we've been running into was the tablet and some things that Permitize had never even seen before. So I have a new tablet on order to begin with the next round of inspections.
it would have been nice if someone told you that, right?
Yeah. It took us having that meeting to figure it out. So, but we're glad that it got figured out.
Yeah, it's finally been figured out.
I'll just say it this way here. People were saying you didn't want to use it, and I said, well, if it's not as good as what we have purchased, then either Permitize, and everybody said in the office, Permitize will upgrade it and everything. And I guess, yeah, they could, but then they couldn't get it to you. So it's like you're in the field without a tablet that accepts the current Permitize. So I guess, unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
It is the 21st century, and the technology is there. And then simple things like, is the computer that was last year going to work with this? Nobody checked it out. So, okay, you get a pass on that one, Rob, because it's not your fault. Wait a minute, we can blame this on IT, maybe. I don't know. Whatever.
I was gonna say, Karen's actually been really good. She was the one that ordered the new tablet for me, and she's having everything updated. Permitize was the one that brought to light that some of the issues we'd run into were
so Permitize. Okay, well that's good.
Software based. But with that being said, part of the beginning part was RFSs versus FEs. So Dylan and I had kind of kicked around the idea, or a few ideas, in regards to how to define the permits and just kind of streamlining things, and also making sure that we have them defined properly within the system. Because we ran into a number of them that were, essentially an FE that were listed as RFSs or categorized as RFSs, and vice versa. Even supermarkets were coming up as RFSs. So we came up with the system that we wanted to present tonight to potentially have adopted for the next round, where any establishment that doesn't have direct contact with food, so anyone that's just simply selling, reduced oxygen packaging products on a shelf, would be considered a true RFS. So they have no contact with any single item. And those would only be inspected 2 times a year versus the 3 or 4, and that they would be on the I think $200 fee schedule. You said, Dylan?
Yeah. I have that highlighted somewhere.
So the single, what we call prepackaged, it went twice a year, we're gonna keep it at 200, right? Because-
Correct.
Okay, fine, that's fine.
Yep.
Because
So
I think
that-
we were
that-
doing what, 100 inspections or 100 per inspection? If it's one, and then it went to 2 because state mandated that.
Yes.
Was
so
it
we'll-
2 and it should have gone to 4, but we decided to leave it as 2.
Yeah, so we're going to
Yeah.
keep it at 2.
Okay.
And then because the food side of things gets so convoluted when it comes to, how much contact creates the next risk level, we've
Right,
decided to just eliminate that and create, one permit type that covers every food establishment. So every true food establishment is getting a full inspection every quarter.
okay,
And that permit would be risk level 2 in our books and $400 for the permit. So that covers, like you said, $100 per inspection.
okay, got
Um,
it. Okay,
and then risk level 3, Dylan determined, would be $1,000, and that is for supermarkets specifically.
right, okay, good. Yeah, that's fine.
Because
I agree with
we
that.
can't cut down supermarkets.
No,
So
absolutely cannot.
they have to stay because they're a high
Correct,
enough risk
correct.
level.
That's fine,
But the other ones, I think we needed to streamline.
fine, okay, fine.
And is
But,
that something where you would
So
like?
all our
would-
3s and 4s are, is it 400 now?
Correct.
Okay, fine.
So all our 3s and 4s
So
that
the
were
2s are
FEs,
still, what, 2?
2s are 2s.
2s are 2s, okay.
2s are 2s. Those are RFSs, retail food stores.
Right.
They only sell prepackaged food.
Fine.
They're
fine.
not
Yeah,
handling
you're
it. They're
not
not
really-
touching it.
Even if you're inspecting twice, it's not really likely you'll find some, maybe rodents or expired food.
Exactly.
That's it.
Whereas food establishments,
Right, right.
you are having a hand in making the food. You
Correct.
get 4 inspections, one per quarter,
Okay,
$400.
okay.
Boom.
I thought that was
And-
originally, Rob, wasn't that originally 200 per inspection, which is 8 a year? No, it was 6, wasn't it 6? I thought
I
it
think it
was.
was-
and then Supermarkets were 1,000 or 800
I-
maybe.
To be honest with you, I think that it was only still at 75 or 100, because the numbers that Dylan had was 350.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had 350, so
Okay, fine.
I bumped it up to
That's
400.
fine, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I would even probably go in a little bit more, that's fine. That's fine. That works, I
But
guess.
basically, to kind of piggyback off of that,
Right.
the idea behind that page proper is what
Right.
I handed to in
Right,
front of
right,
you.
right.
So essentially, what that is, if you wanted to show Rick as well.
Right. I read it.
Oh, you
Okay.
did? Okay.
Okay.
So that is basically when someone goes in to apply for a permit,
Right.
before they get access to the permit application, they're going to get hit with those questions.
Okay, fine.
So
good.
that way, instead of applying for the wrong permit, you
Got
get asked the question, and I go, "Oh, I'm applying for an FE, but I don't. This is saying I have to handle food. I don't handle food. Kicks you out, tells you to go to RFS."
Good. Okay, the other
Well,
thing
so-
too, Rob, I don't know if you guys saw this, I did, Dylan, maybe you didn't see it. Town council came back on things and saying, well, everybody has rules if you operate without a permit. Like the building department, it's like, you would lose your, yeah,
That's the next thing.
fine. Okay, sorry. I'll leave that alone. Okay, because that one we seriously, she said, you already had authority.
Oh yeah,
You need to do the right thing.
yeah. That was the next thing.
Good, okay, I'll leave that alone. So Rob,
But-
everything else on retail food, so how are we on the total food inspections at this point? Because it
So
is
every establishment has been inspected a minimum of twice so far this year.
perfect, okay, good.
We are
The
going out
RFSs,
again.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say the
Because we go
RFSs
by
are done.
quarters, yeah, they're good,
They should be done. I
Okay,
think
fine.
they're either
Perfect.
done or like there is literally 1 or 2 left.
that's fine, good.
As far as FEs are concerned, we were kind of waiting for the new tablet to come in to be able to start going out again. So that way I'm not potentially
Right,
having
yeah, I don't want to
issues.
do things twice and
And
you think
especially
it's
where,
getting in and it never gets in. We look in the folder, or Michelle and Laura will look at it and say, geez, there's no inspections, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, we
especially,
got it.
especially where I missed kind of the beginning of the quarter due to my injury.
Right,
last-
no, but I'm saying
last
they were
month.
even worried about your ability to get to do that, and if you hadn't discovered this with Dylan and Karen's help, I guess, the girls would be going, you still didn't get them done, whatever, and
Well, so going back
We
to that,
squashed it.
we squashed,
We-
okay, got it,
we ran into a myriad of wonderful things. So I was still running on my tablet version 1.0 when we were on 2.5, which was the reason for
Right.
the issue where they weren't uploading properly.
But
So
did
we figured
someone
that
say
out.
to you, like, bring your tablet in so we can upgrade it? You know, like your
Oh,
phone.
they did, but then we realized that the software on the tablet itself was also too old because it's that old
Got
of
it.
a tablet.
So it couldn't upgrade it.
And so like they upgraded it, but it was still being glitchy. And we're like, what's
Yeah.
going on?
Okay, got it. Yeah.
And then we found out it's because the literal processor on the device that he had wasn't strong or fast or new enough to
Oh.
run 2.5.
Okay, fine.
So
So
Okay.
they have all been hit at this point. The issue, not the issue, but one of the um, caveats with Permitize is that once our renewals start going out and people begin to renew, it
Right.
replaces their 2023 permit with their 2024 permit. So next Monday, Dylan and I are going to sit down and we're going to schedule out all the inspections for the rest of the quarter. So that way we can try to get as many of them as we can into the proper permit.
Right.
Part
Yeah,
of
'cause you
the
wouldn't want to be doing 2023 last quarter in 2024.
exactly.
exactly. And part of the to piggyback off of the whole RFS versus FE issue as well. Part of the functionality of Permitize is that we are not able to reassign them, which I don't know if Dylan already covered. So that's why we have to have the page proper and all of these other things in place, because the permit that they apply for is the only permit that they can have. They either have to fill out a whole new application or, fill out the proper application, because that was one of the things we brought up at the meeting was wanting to have the ability to reassign them, but we are unable to do that. So,
Okay.
but we seem to be in a better place with Permitize and obviously with the, software and tablets that support it. So this should hopefully no longer be any hiccups. So, but yeah, after next Monday, we'll have the rest of the quarter scheduled out. We'll have them gapped enough. And I know Dylan and I had spoken about going out to do a couple supermarkets together and things like that, just so that he can have a little more exposure. And I've also spoken with the girls in the office, and we're going to set up a couple times while I'm doing inspections so that they can tag along and kind
Right,
of
just in case something happens, you
Yeah.
get ill or you got a vacation or whatever.
Yeah,
You're not getting
absolutely.
married again, so we covered that.
no.
Right? Okay, good. So what I'm saying is, it's sort of like when I'm covering for Dylan or when Steve is covering for Dylan for, like a perk and stuff like that, or, other stuff like that. When he gets to that level, it's good to have somebody there versus someone saying, well, there's no one doing inspections, therefore we fall behind. And then, it could come back to haunt us if someone gets poisoned. That's the only thing I'm thinking. Oh,
Yeah, it's better to have more sets of eyes on it than is
Right,
necessary just for those very situations. So
Right,
that's completely.
the only other thing, since it's your job as well, how's tobacco going and where are we on that? That last
Tobacco.
establishment is doing a 30-day. Is that elapsed yet?
So tobacco, everyone is on track. All of the inspections are also done for the quarters.
Okay.
So those are all set.
No big violations per se, except for that one.
No, and even the violations that have come up haven't been from us. It's been DOR issues with
DOR.
taxation
Okay.
versus sales to minors or banned products.
Okay.
The only question that did come up was, again, in reference to the business at the corner of Moody Street, where I know Trish had mentioned previously that if they did not have product on the shelves by the end of the year, that she wanted to revoke that permit.
Right, yeah.
Um,
I think
they
we even said before that, but if you want to wait to the end of the year, fine.
well,
Because
so
I
where
think
they
that
already
makes sense because realistically,
are they
to-
holding a permit? In other words,
Yes,
yeah,
that's why.
so that's what I'm thinking. I didn't even think we were supposed to go to the end of the year. I thought it was supposed to be
we
like September, October, but
we were only going to the end of the year because they had technically paid for the year.
oh,
with
they
their
already
permit.
paid. Okay, fine, great.
Yeah.
But question becomes if that is still the case because they just still have not finished their build out. I don't know if there is plans to do so, but at this point there
I'd
hasn't
say
been a single
they
truck there.
have,
So
and if you want to notify them, fine. But if
Okay.
not, they should have gotten a letter way back in June, maybe even April, stating, if you don't get product on the shelf by December 31st, And I mean, I would say if you have product, you open, right?
Correct.
So if they put product on the shelf and don't open on December 31st, we pull a license. That's it.
Well, so their argument is that they have product inside. They just don't have the premises built to the
But they're
point that
not
they can
selling
open.
it, so it's not a real
Exactly.
store. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, I can have Vinny's store here, and have a front and, pay, let's say for a building occupancy, get that inspection, fire and building. And then I require a different license from another board, like the Board of Health, and I do nothing, I'm going like, one, it doesn't seem smart, right? If you file your taxes, the only thing you'll be able to show is your rent and license that you have to operate. But the product you're selling is through the Board of Health and you're not selling anything. See, you're not gonna have much income, which means is you're gonna have a loss year one.
Yeah.
And then you're limited on how many losses you can have in the first three. I think the first seven, I think it's 3 years, but and then if it kicks in, if you make a profit in a third, you can't go right off the bat and say, got another three now. No, you can't. There's two rules in the IRS, but I'm not gonna get into that. Okay, so great, Rob, thank you. So the next thing is, Dylan, you're on.
So
You have a full list there, it's good.
North Main Street Plaza, VTT management non-compliance. So
Is that Jocelyn? Or no?
yes,
Yes, okay, fine.
no, it's Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. Okay.
Jacqueline.
Okay.
So I
She sent a
actually,
couple of letters to me.
so I've been emailing her back and forth, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was starting to get frustrated today
That's fine.
because I felt as though,
Well, you got back and you said, same thing, nothing changed.
there was no change, and so what I actually did today was, I called Holliston Sewer
Okay, fine,
because I wanted to see if she was actually calling them.
perfect.
And Holliston Sewer told me that she was. She reported the issues. She's not lying. It's just he's been so ridiculously busy that he's been trying to fit it into his
Fine,
schedule,
okay, fine.
and that he's going to expedite it and hopefully get it done within the next 2 weeks.
Good, okay, fine.
So after having that conversation, I told him, I'm happy that she got the word to you,
Correct.
and I expressed to him my concern because
She did say that.
Yeah.
So,
he was aware of the barrels, but he wasn't as aware of the grease trap. That was the
Grease
issue
trap,
that I caught
correct,
with
yeah.
trash in it.
Right.
So I made him aware of that. And it seems
How's he
like,
gonna handle the trash? Take it, rebag it, and put it in trash?
I mean, that's what I told him.
Right,
That's
right,
what I
that's what I
told
would
him.
do. Yeah,
He's gonna have to take it out,
Right.
rebag it, throw it in the trash, dump
Right.
out what grease is in there,
Right.
call it a day.
Okay. Now, is that one clean around it or is it filthy around
It's
it?
relatively clean around
Okay.
it. It looks like it's been used mostly for trash than it is grease.
Okay.
It hasn't really been used for
No, I'm saying the ground around.
No, I know that, but like that's literally what I mean.
Okay.
It literally looks like it's only been used for trash,
Trash.
really. So there's no grease around it,
Oh, okay. But
and
it is a
there
grease pit,
could
right?
be some in it, but it is a grease pit that says grease only
Oh,
on the side.
Okay, fine.
But
Okay.
there's trash in it.
So it's been used as a trash barrel bin instead of a grease pit, and it's a grease pit, but there is some grease now in it. Right?
Correct.
Correct.
At least I think. I don't know because there's so much trash
Right.
that I don't know if there's grease in
Okay.
there. So it's just a messy situation, and I told him I want it cleaned up.
And okay, that's great.
So
I guess the other thing, especially the pump guys, they get the same message. All stores got that,
yeah,
we can't mix grease with septic at your station. 2 trucks.
yeah.
They
I
go
believe I also
Holliston.
actually sent the
Right.
fog regulations over to
Right.
Jacqueline just so she had them to review with any tenants.
Because if the contractor does that, we'll still get violated by
Correct.
Medway.
So that was pretty much that.
Okay.
So moving to rapid refill.
Yeah. That was an interesting find. By the way.
Yeah. So rapid refill is actually under new management. When Vinny and I had went to go speak with the gentleman about the trash issue, he kind of respectfully seemed checked out. Like
Right.
he was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll get to it." It's because it was his final week with the company, and they brought in
Could
a
have told us
new.
that.
Yeah, they brought in a new guy, and he's very responsible. His name's Kempton. He's very. He
Good.
seems there's a big difference being made
You're
there.
getting good vibes.
Yeah, I'm getting good vibes from
Good,
him.
good.
He's been very respectful and responsive to all of my every conversation that I've had, and he also understands the severity of the situation with waste, trash,
Right.
just the situation in general with Rapid. You know, he doesn't want a lot of trucks staying there. It's not a
Right.
truck stop; it's a gas
It's
station.
gas.
And so there's a lot
There's
of
a lot with Amazon. They
there's a
pile
oh
in
my
there.
gosh, yeah.
They gather, they talk.
Yeah, so I see a lot of positivity coming out of that situation, and he told me that, you know, come next April-ish, that Rapid will be Garrett's and
Okay.
that the subway inside will no longer be there.
Okay.
That's what I was told.
Okay.
So we'll see if they stay within that timeline.
Right.
But yeah, that was basically Rapid.
Yeah, but I'm more of issue, whether it's Rapid or Garrett's. The stuff we found in the barrels was actually either diesel or a mixture.
Oh, and I talked to him
Yeah.
about that
So
too.
that needs to be, because what happens is if it gets spilled
Yeah.
or overflowed by rain,
Well, I actually dropped off.
what
some-
happens is
yeah,
the
it's gonna
state will
rise
be
up
there.
and flow out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the state will be all over us.
Oh yeah. I actually went over there and I dropped off just like some helpful paperwork regarding
good.
hazardous waste management
Right.
and how to properly
Right.
label your waste, how
Correct.
to
Yeah, right.
where does it need to be? It can't be next to trash. And
Right.
like I printed out that whole
Yeah.
state document and gave
Because
it to
the
him.
lid that was open,
Yeah.
luckily, no one went like that and threw a bag in it, because it was too much work.
Yeah.
But that was 50%, so it's not
But
full yet.
but when I went back, I noticed that just because, you know, we're kind of at that time of the year where condensation can build up on the inside
Oh,
of the
yeah.
lid
Yeah.
from like morning dew.
Yeah.
And water was making its way in that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And so I told him, I was like, you're gonna have to throw a bung on this and get it sealed.
Right, the water will go to the bottom, rot the bottom.
Exactly. So yeah, he's doing a great job
Good,
over there. So
okay.
that's Rapid. The Charles River Center.
Right.
This was more of a question, I guess.
Okay.
Because we wrapped up that situation in our last meeting. That was the location with the sewer spill.
Right.
But the thing that we didn't touch upon that we were planning on was they currently do biannual pumpings, so twice a year.
Yeah.
And
They're
we
gonna have to go
discussed,
quarterly.
we discussed moving to quarterly.
Right. Okay.
So,
They're okay with that.
well, we
Oh, we, okay.
discussed
Yeah,
moving to
yeah.
quarterly.
Well, our reg says quarterly too. Right?
Okay,
So,
so
yeah.
I will then have to, I just wanted to basically ask the board again, is
Right.
that what we're doing?
Yeah,
Am
yeah,
I moving forward with
yeah,
that?
because if you look
Yes,
at our
okay.
fog, it's quarterly. We can't go biannually for somebody and everybody else is quarterly.
I
It's gotta be
agree. So
quarterly.
in that case, I can reach out to
So,
Andrew
luckily,
tomorrow.
it's only maybe one. Perfect. We don't
Yeah.
have, more than one, and then we go like, well, we have 126 places, and all of a sudden, you have 2 or 3 not doing it quarterly,
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
So that's
the state
easy.
could come in and say, can we see all the records?
That's easy enough to just reach out myself. I can just reach out to Andrew tomorrow, the manager over there, and just get
Okay.
that started. I just didn't get the chance to
Yeah.
solidify that with the board in the
Right.
last meeting.
Right.
So I wanted to
So
do that and move forward.
you and I had talked before you went on vacation. Rick probably didn't hear this. Dylan went over to what was it? Regal. Was it Regal or was it Chili's? No,
Chili's.
And the Chili's guy called his lawyer and said, we can't even go in the back and look. It's trespassing. I said, really? I said, you better look at our regulation. You have the authority to go anywhere to check and see if the regulation is being followed.
Essentially the manager said that he felt that I targeted him because I walked into the back. And I didn't like tell anyone, but it's because I walked into the back. And then when I found something, I walked back around to the front,
Right.
identified myself,
Right.
and then went to the back and spoke to them about it.
Right.
So
I mean,
I
I'm
just
saying,
didn't
Rick,
really think anything.
we don't need
Well, we don't need his permission to go in.
no, and we don't need a warrant,
Exactly.
like, as he was saying, like,
Yeah,
well, we don't need him to say that you're trespassing. Absolutely not.
yeah.
By the way, by having a food permit, authorize the health agent to make any inspection. In this case, we have a fog regulation.
Did he say why he contacted the attorney?
It was because he said that, like I said, he felt that he was being singled out by the Board of Health. He went on this tangent about an incident that occurred before I was even on the board or before I was even here.
Mhm.
And I just expressed to him, respectfully, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Now,
I
it
was
with
not
Bruce
there
and
when it
Mike
happened.
Catalan?
I believe it was 2 years ago, so I don't know if that would be
That
Bruce.
would be Bruce, yeah.
But
Bruce never mentioned anything.
yeah.
And did it end up cordial?
I think so.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just
And
kind
that's
of
how,
Well, the other thing too is, remember when I said to you, I didn't even know this. Regal Cinema has 2 grease pits. Remember, I think popcorn and other things, a lot of grease.
oh yeah,
But I'm saying I would never have thought they would have more than Chili's.
yeah. But we'll have to go in there. That's another
So
place
that's another
with
place
Rob that we'll have to just do,
Because remember,
inspection.
I'm saying that sewer overflow could be like a hybrid. All of a sudden, 6 months down the road, or we're gonna
Well,
get another one.
that's what the John
Maybe
Stewart's
do-
guys are saying.
Right.
Is that's years of building.
Yes, yeah. So someone
So
wasn't
that's
doing it,
not-
or someone's dumping it, and we know someone didn't just dump it, like 55 gallons at once.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the Charles River Center.
Yeah.
So
So just
20
check Regal for the fact that you might as well be equal opportunity. And as I think either Rick said or somebody else said, Whole Foods, does have a lot of operation there, so you might as well check. Even though that manager said, "I've already started doing the fog thing." You want to be equally, how do I say it? Checking everybody up there
yeah,
because they had the spill. If there was no spill, we would never have gone there.
exactly.
Just like the other places.
Exactly.
We go on a complaint. We go on a release. We don't usually go checking people's junk all the time.
Exactly.
Like we went by Stop and Shop behind those places because someone was reporting rats. And then we looked in the grease pit and said, geez,
There's a lot in there.
what happened was the crud got on top, like cheese,
Yeah,
blocked
and they
the
were going
opening.
into it.
So they're pouring in, it's going
All
over
over the
ground.
place,
And
yeah.
that guy was very respectful, said, I'll take care of it.
And he
Because
did. Yeah.
if you do it, guess what? The Board of Health goes away. If you don't do it, we're coming out to enforce. We don't
Yeah.
want to do that. We'd rather, how do we say it? We'll get more cooperation with a little bit of courtesy and honey than we will with slapping with a fine the minute, they
I
violate
agree.
something,
So
whatever.
speaking of
Go.
2024 penalties.
Yeah.
Last time we discussed, I was advised to seek town council, so that's what I
Right,
did.
right.
I reached out to town council.
Yeah.
And they did say, as you stated,
Yeah.
along the lines of, I'll just read here. As you know, the Retail Food Code and 2013 FDA Food Code provide that food establishments with limited exceptions may not operate without a permit from the local board, 10 CMR, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. In my opinion, a local board may order the closure of a food establishment that is operating without a valid permit as required under both codes.
Right.
So, with that being said, what I went ahead and did today is I wrote up this letter.
Okay,
Well, I should say Laura wrote it up
fine.
the other
That's fine.
day and I revised it and added to it. And this would be the letter that we would send out to places
For renewal.
for renewals.
Correct, yeah.
And so I
And we
wanted
have to hold fast that if Laurie last year did it on December 15th, you weren't here, so I'll just let it out. They were technically due January 15th, but I said to Laura, you know what? We'll give them to January 31st. But there is no gravy like we were doing before. It was $5 fee plus 14.75%. Guess what? On a $200 permit, you can go to June before you even have to get close to $25, $30 penalty.
I would also argue that
I'm not doing that. We're not waiting that.
I would also argue that what you just described is
Right.
going to be significantly more difficult to keep track of
Correct.
than it is.
Yeah.
You don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
a permit, you don't
Right.
open, you
Right.
have a permit, you open.
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
And
Perfect.
so the essentially what that is there's information that we already provide, but
Correct.
the only alterations that we made was essentially what I just told you.
Right.
We emphasize that when you apply for the permit, you need to ensure that you A, are timely,
Right.
and B, provide all necessary documentation.
Right.
For example, with a food establishment, you are legally required, it is state law that you need to provide a ServSafe
Right.
and an allergen certificate.
Right.
And that is also noted on there.
Perfect. Okay.
If you don't provide those two
Right.
things,
Permitize won't give you a permit.
then you don't
Right.
get a permit.
And the other thing too is, I guess if you don't pay for it, permitize will not.
exactly.
issue the permit.
Well, the way that we did it was that because I also think that, you know, if someone sends in their application for
Right,
renewal
right.
and then we just don't process it until January,
right.
I'm not going to penalize them.
No, that's fine, but it can't
Because
go
they
February,
apply.
March, April. What I'm saying is, other establishments get it all done in January.
No, exactly.
Right. We can't have
Exactly.
people going, because the other people are gonna say like, because I know already someone said that to me. Well, you've got places that are 5 months late. I paid mine on time. I said, yeah, well, you're right. It's wrong. So in this case, instead of fining, you close them right down. I mean, February 1st, if your license is not paid, you're closed.
January.
And they can.
January.
I know what they'll do. They'll yell and scream, saying, "Well, I'm gonna rent down." Well, you get to reopen when you get the thing paid and permitized says, "Here's your permit."
Well, the
right?
other thing that I think is really important is that we're utilizing state law.
Fine.
This is not
No, I
like,
know,
oh,
I
I wrote this regulation that says we're closing you.
Right.
It says right here,
Right.
and we can even say when we close a place, I'll put a sign on there that says per
Right.
regulation 105 CMR 590.008 FC 8301.11.
Right.
I will list it right on there
Right.
so they can look it up and know exactly why they're in violation.
Right.
And I think that that is really important to have that on
I
our
agree.
site.
Done. Now, do we need to vote on that?
I don't know. Since it's already, we asked
I'm not
council.
sure. If,
I
would you
would
like
say-
to?
I think we
that's
should
okay,
put it on
fine.
record that.
Okay, fine. That's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
then yeah, let's.
We'll
I'd
accept
like
that.
Make a motion that we accept the package from Dylan
Right.
on food
2024.
establishment owner regulations.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried. Okay.
Okay.
All right, beautiful. The last thing, which is
All right, I'm
really
gonna
quick.
just sign my name to this.
Yeah,
and
of
then you can
course.
do the
That's
same.
fine. Yeah.
The last thing that I had really quick that didn't make its way onto the docket, but it was just because I took it in a quick phone call, was I actually had a woman call in. Her name was Valeria Sinya. She called last week on the 17th. She was actually inquiring about internship opportunities. She said that I suppose she needs some sort of accreditation to complete her degree.
Okay.
And she was just reaching
Now,
out.
what type of work would you want to provide?
Well, I asked her and she said anything.
Yeah, okay, fine.
And so I said that
Because I had one on how meetings go, how the board operates, which was totally many years ago. But she was an intern from Northeastern.
but my suggestion would be that I provide, because you as the chairman, I also understand that you had an idea with something. I know
Right.
we briefly discussed
Yeah.
that cancer project for
Right, the
epidemiology,
epidemiology.
which I did
records.
bring up to her. I asked her, "Hey, are you interested in epi?" She said maybe.
Okay,
So
fine.
my suggestion was I have her contact
Right.
info. I could just give it to you and we could go from there.
Either that or we can do is we can contact the state, because the state only provides the deaths and what they're associated with, like once every 2 years.
Mhm.
So and they just provide it to us and we go like, okay. We don't know you don't know the numbers, but if like in Bellingham for a while, we've been having a lot of brain cancer deaths, and I'm going, it's not number one, but it's happening. And I know people, other people know people, and said, geez, I remember in the 90s we had a lot of these. Well, it's not the people from the 90s that their families moved away. It's not genetic.
Yeah, but I
Heart
think
disease
that's
can
all.
be
Yeah,
genetic.
that's
So
all
it can be
information.
genetic, yeah,
That
so-
hence why I think. it
Yeah,
would
I
be
don't know if
yeah.
she, I mean, we have to probably.
What are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you think that?
Laura
would
has to contact the state.
I think that's fine. I also think she could help Laura do some of the
administrative work?
administrative work.
Yeah,
It kind of gives an intern
yeah, that's
a
true.
background of what you're gonna actually do
Right,
in real life.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good
Um,
idea.
So I think
Yeah.
if you bring her on and do both of those
Yeah.
things, I'm sure.
The
that,
second one may be fairly difficult. What I'm usually expecting there is it's someone in a master's or doctorate program in epidemiology. They're gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a big
I think
undertaking.
that,
It's a big
and that's yeah. I don't think we're gonna
We'd have to
get
find
that.
somebody at Northeastern master's program in epi.
Yeah.
At least the lower level might be better.
Yep.
doctorate level, they're looking for research, epidemiologist stuff, you know.
But that's all I have for health agent
Okay.
update, so we can go ahead and move on to new
Okay.
business.
Okay, livestock regulation change.
Well, this is also kind of me.
That's fine, no, that's fine.
So, I'll just kind of try and wrap it up in a
Okay.
bow. So basically, when I was reviewing, I had that chicken case a couple weeks ago.
Right, right.
And I was with that case reviewing our livestock regulations, and I found a couple loopholes that I thought were pretty prevalent.
And I had one in Kathy Drive, same way.
Yeah, and so what I did was I looked up some, some information that I found was very helpful. Saying that a chicken fence should be at least 4 feet high because chickens like to fly,
Right, right.
and that the
We didn't have
fencing,
that in our original regulation.
there was no height there was no height, and so I pulled, and so this is under general requirements, section E. The
Right.
current livestock
Right.
says
Right.
all facilities for the keeping of livestock shall be securely fenced in a manner as prescribed by the Board of Health, or so as to prevent the escape of
Right,
livestock
so we
therefrom.
didn't have a manor, we didn't have a height requirement. We didn't
At
have a-
no time will animals be allowed to roam from the permitted and
Right,
intended lot.
okay, so,
And so with that, my issue was that there's the assumption of height maintenance. I want it clearly stated.
correct. Perfect.
So I wrote out what is
fine,
essentially
okay.
an alteration to section E that states,
Right, yeah.
it's literally the same wording, just with
Right,
an extra
That's
word that
fine.
says, all facilities for the keeping of livestock shall be securely fenced. The fence shall be at least 4 feet high or greater and must be regularly maintained to prevent the escape of livestock therefrom.
Right.
At no time will animals be allowed to roam from the permitted.
That was on
lot.
the original, okay, that's perfect.
So it's
Okay.
just a simple clarification in the general.
I
So
make a motion that we accept the new wording on the livestock regulations that Dylan provided.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye,
Aye.
opposed, abstained, so carried. Perfect. Okay, we only need two, but if you get Trish, make it unanimous, but if not, two will suffice.
cool.
It's a quorum and it's legit, so there you go.
Stack that on
That's
right
fine.
there.
Okay, good. So
Um,
now, we have school flu clinic to be determined. Is that in the package?
I'm not sure if it is. I can also talk about.
Okay, go.
The school nurse, Maureen Loftus, reached out shortly after
Like I missed the last one.
Essentially, it was. I think there was a disconnect between school employees not realizing that they counted as town employees,
Oh,
and so they were unaware of the fact that they were included in the town employee
Yeah.
in the previous flu clinic.
Yeah.
So the school nurse reached out to us and was asking if we could, more so reached out to Anne,
right,
through us,
right.
and was asking if we could potentially run another flu clinic.
Yeah, I would love that too,
And-
because I missed it.
yeah, and
I was
Anne-
away that day.
Anne said that I believe they're in
Fine.
the motions of doing
Good,
that. So
fine.
that's pretty much where
And
that
what does the flu clinic entail?
It's just so Anne Labonte, our public health nurse, will come in. She'll either come in herself, or the previous clinic she sent in a couple of her nurses from the hospital.
Right.
They show up with vaccination supplies, vaccinations, gloves, and
Right.
the alcohol
Yeah.
wipes.
Right, sure.
And you sign up for a slot, you
Right.
show up, they jab you, you leave. It's
And this is
basically-
just for the town employees.
Well. I
Well,
mean,
this
This
is-
is for anybody.
we-
Well,
we-
the school employees are town employees.
Yeah,
Right, right.
I believe it's a town employee.
But we're
if I'm not
included,
mistaken.
last time we always were, so.
Well, we're employees.
Right,
yes.
correct.
So.
Everyone's
Right,
included.
right, right.
Okay.
Everyone in
That's,
yes.
Like,
So
you know, I'll give it to you this way here, when it's the Walgreens lady, which I should have skipped, but anyway, Bruce brought his wife in, and I'm going like, but that's okay, you know, I mean.
yeah,
Sometimes families
yeah,
that's
of
fine too.
employees are allowed, military wise, they always are,
yeah,
whatever, so I didn't care. But,
And where do they, where will they hold this?
I
At a
bel-
school?
I believe they were planning on doing it at one of the schools.
Okay.
I'm assuming probably the high school.
yeah.
Cause
right,
that's
okay.
the biggest.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be determined and we'll get notification on that,
Correct. I'll keep you guys in the
possible
loop
high
on that.
school, right, good, good.
And that's gonna be sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because it's that time.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, they're trying to expedite it, but I just know that, like I said, that's kind of more so between Anne and the school nurse.
Correct. Right,
So,
that's fine.
That's-
I'm in it, but I'm not.
Right, right.
So-
And just to throw it out there, Rick, before you get on, oh, actually, it was that same night, I think. Remember that there was a school nurse? Was it you?
Yeah.
I'll assume that's her. It might be, but in any event.
Yeah,
and then after-
Maureen Loftus.
I even though Trish was being a wise guy, she said, "Well, you know, Vinny, you talked to right out." I said, "No, I want everybody to realize on Sport Health that, you know, even if you don't have all the skills, there are a lot of things we do, and it can be delegated. Like when you're not around, that Rick and I will take care of it. I mean, if it's septic, right, Rick's not going to do that, but if he wants to tag along, hey, more power to everybody. I always feel the Board of Health, and I know I can hear the selectmen saying, Vinny, we can't get enough people now for any boards, and you want them to have a skill requirement. Well, I do because I'm skilled in this because I came out of woodwork because I didn't like the state law the way they wrote it. They
Yeah.
were being
Gotta be
literally
knowledgeable.
it was like, no, they were becoming like a police state. No one will come into your property and inspect your system every year if you're not selling, right? I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, it wouldn't be a good day for the health agent. They pop in and start digging up my septic system, because if they're going to say to me, you dig it up, I'm going to say, bye. Anyway, whatever. I'll let it go because, okay, MHB information. I have something too on that, but I guess, remember that lady on Depot Street, that with the range?
Yep.
She had gotten that off the website of DEP, so the MHB, so I was wrong. However, she said when she called them in what's it, Taunton, we weren't even members. So all of a sudden, Laura last meeting, we signed up. I said, we got to maintain our memberships. MHOA, MEHA, MHB. I think it's good to be members of all those organizations because they do provide training. And if you're not a member, you don't get what we call it, like someone digs up information from the state and it should come to the Board of Health, but we don't know about it because we're not members.
I've been getting a lot of info
Like
about
what other
emergency
towns do.
preparedness.
Yes, yeah, that is big.
I've been getting a lot
big.
of those.
But that's more not MHB, that's
Yeah.
Region 2.
Okay.
And that'll be that Jamie.
Yeah.
There's a few other things. Yeah, that doesn't cost anything. We signed up as a member in 1999 or 2000.
Okay.
It was really big time after 01, 9/11.
So is there anything that we actually need to do about this, or do we just kind of, am I showing it
Well,
to you
there's two
guys?
things. One is annual training. Is that what that is? Or is it?
Well, it's about the
This is
handbook.
this is the handbook.
Oh, the
This is
handbook.
access to the handbook.
Yeah. I don't know if we want to buy it. How much is that?
It's free.
It's free.
Okay.
It's a passworded page. So
Oh, yeah,
just-
definitely.
It's a book that you just download.
Fine. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's I think is valuable. 'Cause
definitely.
let's put it this way here. There's 351 towns, and most of them have the same regulations. Every once in a while, a town has a unique problem. And then you say, well, it's not going to happen in Bellingham. And believe it or not, it gets to Bellingham. And then some resident says, well, you guys have no idea what you're doing, And I don't like people say, like, we're sleeping, they'll blame you first, but then they'll blame the members because
I don't like being called out for someone saying
Right.
that I don't know or I'm
right,
not qualified.
right. Well, this lady,
No one does.
she asked me to call her. I waited till Saturday night. I've been so busy. And I called her. She said, well, I'm not calling you about the parties you've been having, because Tim said they're not parties for pay, but they are, probably. But I said, you can do two things with that. If you have a proper septic system, and they have that's the other thing. They have a bathroom there.
Because we actually were talking about that. If he's having parties all the time, that's gonna ruin his sewage. That's gonna ruin his septic system.
Right. Here's what I have for you to look up.
How
What
often it's getting pumped?
No. When they built that building, I think it's 120 Depot. Correct me. You can look it up. It's what's his name? McCarthy. Jack. He had applied, by the way, for your position. Many times, twice at least. Anyway, I don't know what he does, but I don't care. Make sure they pull the permit to put a bathroom, because they need a plumbing permit and a septic permit to tie a bond to the house thing. And he's right. If he puts Well, he probably doesn't put a sanitizer. It's not a mobile home. But if he's putting I usually rate separate buildings at 15 gallons per person. So you need a lot of people, and it's only short. It's not 8 hours. So let's say it's
Are you saying, do you want me to see if he pulled a permit for installing a bathroom
and
in
hooking it to his septic system.
in the shed?
Yeah, the
Okay.
shed to the house, because
Full permit.
the shed, the bond did not come with the house, I believe. But check that out. We need to do a time frame on that. I'll bet you. Well, I'm not gonna say anything because that could be wrong. I don't want to be totally. But anyway, the lady said, so now I gotta sue him over there. I said, Sue, I said, here's the point. The whole town was told. I said, one of our members, said, you're welcome to come to a meeting.
It's an open meeting.
That nuisance thing that you found in MHB, you could petition us. He says, well, I think it's just better if I sue him. I said, fine.
Keep us out of it.
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
Works for me.
Right,
Yeah.
But she said, I want to say very much thank you for your help. Seems like you're the only one that would listen to me. I said, well, that's not true. I said, but I don't like technically, attacking a person's Second Amendment rights. She says, well, it's not that. I said, well, it sort of is. She says, what I'm attacking is you have a bylaw that says the decibels during the day.
Yeah.
And then I said to her, the thing I had a problem with, it's not constant. That's good because I violate that when I talk sometimes. And I'd say, really? But I also said, we don't have to go change it now because this is the first time I ever knew that somebody complained about noise.
So with this, I think it's just important to note it as a helpful resource.
Right,
I took a photo of it so that I have it to download on
yeah.
my computer upstairs.
Yeah, so get the
That's
password
just-
link.
Yes, right
And
there.
it's all in the.
It's on
Okay.
it's on it. So
And-
that's why I took a picture of it.
And,
That's all good.
you may end up going there before we do, because you're the agent. So
Yeah.
if you think you need information, it might be right.
It's
in
a
the
good
handbook.
resource. Yeah.
It is a good resource. Okay. So that's good. Okay, so old business is none. Okay, trick or treat notice. Okay. Oh,
Halloween, the 31st from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We're doing Halloween at the Bellingham Municipal Center.
okay.
That's
Well,
the announcement.
I'll be in Woburn till at least 3 with Debbie. So
I'll be here.
okay, you'll be there.
I'll be working.
You can have some
So
candy on me.
yeah. So that
Have
was
they
that.
done it in the past?
Yeah, they have.
And do they have a lot of kids?
It's kind of dwindled
Yeah,
over the
yeah.
years. There hasn't been as much in the past few years.
Okay.
From what I
So-
understand.
Okay.
Rick, I'll give you both of these. We can do that in order. Next one is Solomon V&A contract. What do you call it? Payment.
I make a motion to pay $670 to Solomon Visit and Nurses Association for October 2023.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained, so carried.
So essentially what happened with that, just to kind of fill you guys in, that got approved in the last meeting, because
Right.
that was the
That's what I
bill
thought. Okay. fine.
for the nurses that came. But we were having some printer issues in the office upstairs,
Oh, okay.
and I think it got like crushed and destroyed in the printer.
Okay, fine. Got it.
All right, I make
Okay.
a motion that we pay J.C. Palmer Incorporated for Debbie and Scott Lane at 32 Overlook Drive, Bellingham, for $660.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained, so carried. And that was for Loom. Dylan and I were out there. And then I don't know if you got to go out. I think on the final it didn't happen, but that'll happen in the future, right? So,
Did you sign that?
yeah, well, thank you. It won't go anywhere without one signature. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Cool.
Okay. So, let's see, is there anything else?
I don't think
Looks like
so.
there isn't. Okay,
I make a motion that we adjourn.
okay, I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried. We're adjourned, not bad. Pretty good.
Excellent meeting.
I think we did it 7:01 to 7:50, 49 minutes.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's not a record. I did have one at 30 or 32 minutes, which,
I'd like to just say that you're doing a good job.
Thank you very
No,
much.
you are. I'm
Thank
very-
you.
yeah,
I'm very happy that you're here.
right. Trust
Thank
me,
you.
Rick. We could have made a mistake here, but
No, listen,
No,
I'm very happy.
no,
that
no,
we,
I mean, I'm gonna say like, sometimes, the right thing happens, you drag your feet.
No, I know.
And someone says, I can't work for what?
No, that night when you said, let's bring in more people, I went,
Oh,
no,
no, well,
I'm
yeah.
done. I'm done.
And I appreciate it.
No, I'm done.
No, and I'm glad you
Yeah, no,
said
I
something.
just wanted to just say that I'm very happy with the way it is.
And by the
Thank you
way,
very much.
I've gone out and, we found things and it's like,
No, I think you're reasonable. I
Yeah,
think you're,
but he's a good detective too. And
Well,
follow up and stuff.
and I think you'll learn more as you go
Yeah,
along.
yeah. And